Hello and welcome back to the part 2 of our tutorial. So on the last video we made the market buildable. So right now we can take this object and drag it around the scene and place it wherever we want. But we still need to make it work. So this is what we'll be doing today. And let me show you the items that I set up. So we have two types of material. This material has the ID of 2 and this one has the ID of 3, and we have the coin that has the ID of 4. And we have this item that's connected to the market, so as soon as this one spawns it brings one of these zones together. And this is where you can see there's a trigger box here, a trigger sphere actually, and the code is on this one as well. So let's start building it. We will need two variables for this one. We have them already here, and we need a trigger enter to start. To start the code, we will need to tell the game when the player is in the tradable area or not. So we will set the in variable to 1. Let's connect this, and we need a trigger exit to set the variable back to 0 when the player leaves the purchase area. So this is self, this is self. Alright. Now we need to use this variable right here, register. So let's do a branch. This is 0 by default, so we are using this variable to make sure that this part of the code only happens once. So as soon as this checks out, we get registered to 1, and it will never be brought back to 0 unless you make a new item. If you buy a new market, then this part of the code here will happen again for that specific item. So we will actually get the player entity here, because the player entity is the entity that has the backpack component. This entity right here is the character entity. It doesn't have a backpack. So by doing this, we can just register the event, and then we can reference this entity right here in the future. So let's just drag this down, and we can do the item removed event and drag the entity. There you go. And on the change info, we will need the item ID, and we will need the count as well. There you go. So the first thing to do is a branch, and we'll make sure that the player is in. If the player is in, then we can get the whole script going. So as you can see, we set it to 1 when the player enters. Now we need a new branch to see what is the item that the player actually removes. Remember that I showed you the IDs for the items. Let me show you one more time. So this one has the ID of 2. So we'll make this 2. If this is true, then something else happens. Actually, we can just make the backpack add here. And then when it's false, we need a new branch. So we can ask if this is actually the ID 3, because it's the other item that we have. We can make all of them come from the same event. We just check once. If this is true, okay. If this is false, okay. So is the 3, and if so, we make a different thing. This is how it works. So we need to drag the entity down here. The item ID that we want to add is the 4, because it's the ID for the coin. And this is where we will use the count. For the first item, the item with ID 2, I want to make it 1 for 1. So if you remove 1, you get 1 coin. But the second item, I actually want to make it more expensive. So we can multiply here for 2. And then we connect. So this item here, 3, has 2 times the value of this first one. And there you go. This should be all that we need to make the script work. Let's try it out in game and see how it behaves. First, I want to try it on this market that's already on the scene, just to show you that it will work with any other market object that you eventually place. So if we try to trade outside, nothing will happen. But if we actually get inside, this one is worth 2, right? So we got 2 coin, and this one is only worth 1 coin, and we got 1 coin. Let's remove this. Okay, now we will exit the area and try to do it again, and it doesn't work. Great. Now let's try to make it work with this market here. Let's place it, press spacebar. Okay, again, if we are outside, then it doesn't work. If we are inside, then it gives me 2, and it gives me 1. Works perfectly. By the way, this should not be here. I probably forgot to add on the last script the remove. So after you place the market, it should actually remove it from your inventory, right? So make sure to add that part to your script. If you have any doubt, of course, you can hit me up and I'll show you how to do it. So yeah, it's not correct to place the item and still have it in your inventory, right? It doesn't look really good. So that's it for this tutorial. I hope that with both parts you can make this on your game and create great ideas. See you on the next one.